So that last part of what Jesus is saying in the gospel today. Why do you notice a splinter in your brother's eye, but do not perceive the wooden beam in your own eye? I'm not going to ask for a show of hands, but do you think there's been a number of different times looking back at your life you should have remembered that? You know, it is so easy when we have fights with people or conflicts or whatever goes on to notice the other person and to be just all upset. Think we wouldn't be having this if you didn't treat me nice, or we wouldn't be going through this if you didn't agree with me and see my point of view. And again, we're reminded by the Lord that and how wonderful it can be if in every situation where we have that, and I know I've had some people in my office who had some fights and talking, and I've said, well, tell you what, why don't, after they kind of went on and on about each other and everything, I said, take a moment. I want each of you to first of all look in yourself and see if you had anything to contribute to this situation. You know, and often that does help. Getting people, and all of us, it's a great discipline, isn't it? Not just for Lent, for life. To first of all, in any circumstance like that, to say, hey, God, am I contributing something to this? And of course, dealing with people, especially kids, like, well, you started it, you know, and then there's a fight over who started it. And I remember this at one time I was at a family's house for dinner, and the kids just got in a big fuss with each other. And I know the parents were somewhat embarrassed because even later when the kids, they were little, when we were going to bed, the parents said, oh, we hope that at least one evening with the pastor here, they would get along. We kept telling them, well, hey, such is life. But the point being, talking to both of them, they saw, hey, in some sense, you're both wrong here. You both have to look at yourself. And sometimes we think, yeah, that's what kids do. But sometimes we can be grown-up kids and be just as, whether hurtful or prideful or looking at the other and not looking at ourselves. Finally, I'd say we got a great example in St. John Chrysostom, who really tried to help the church in the 4th century look at itself. At the time, there was a big argument with the Emperor Constantine, who made Christianity legal. He moved the Holy Roman Empire to Constantinople. Of course, wasn't that something? Finding a city he could name after himself. But anyway, he did that, and then there was a big fight. And some people said, no, the church's center should be in Rome. Other people said, well, the emperor went to Constantinople. The church's center should be in Constantinople. And they fought with each other, of course, in the name of Jesus. But we all have to take a look at every age, at every circumstance. And again, powerfully, that letter to Timothy, Paul was so humble. Instead of like going on about the sins of others, he said, I was once a blasphemer and a persecutor and an arrogant man, but I have been mercifully treated because I acted out of ignorance. Again, he humbled himself, because Paul can be prideful at times, but he humbled himself, and maybe we all need to do that humbling to say, you know, I probably contributed to this, even though I might think it's totally the other person and they need a change of heart. And take that humble looking within and knowing we need the mercy of God, and just possibly, instead of going, this has happened too, well, if that person 6 weeks ago would have come and asked forgiveness, this would have been over. So, well, what about you? You know, it can always be the other person starting and the other person ought to finish it. And that's not the gospel. So take a moment and see in any of this as something we need to hear. And maybe is there any circumstance or relationship that we're in our life right now that we ought to practically live out what Jesus called us to. God bless.